LeCap has not won a league MVP since 2013. Yeah. I mean, what are we really talking about here, guys? Curry has way more impact. It is that simple. When you create a dynasty and LeBron creates super teams, let's be for real. What are we really talking about? How could LeBron James be considered the GOAT? And he's creating super teams, yet Curry created dynasties. 4 titles in 8 years, contending for a 5th one right now. We don't talk about Steph Curry and how he's playing enough at age 37. All we hear about is LaForty. All we hear about is LeBron James at 40 years old. Give me a break. But that does bring me to our next topic, and that is LeBron James. How can we forget LeBron James? We'll never be able to forget LeBron James, right? And of course, there's loads of excuses for being knocked out in the first round. There's, narratives being put out there, and they have to rush. They have to do it so quickly so that the narrative that they don't want out there to pick up steam doesn't actually spread like wildfire. They want their message to be first and last. So, just like, I don't know if you guys remember in 2018, LeBron James came out with a cast on his hand after they lost the series. And, oh, I had played with a broken hand. I couldn't do it. After the series, of course. We didn't hear anything about during the series, but after, we see the cast on the hand and the lay excuses, right? The excuse-driven responses to why you lost. It's interesting to me because when I'm at work and I am driving results and I expect a certain either behavior or result from my team, and they have an excuse for me, I call it excuse driven. I don't want the excuses as to why you didn't win or get the results that we were looking for. I just want to know like what you're going to do differently next time. And then if those things keep happening, there's going to be accountability, right? If you don't get the result that I'm looking for and you have repeatedly given me a game plan that doesn't work. So LeBron and the Lakers, obviously, they're eliminated. They have an early exit. They've been sent to Cancun. Anthony Edwards has gone around celebrating this, right? Yet, LeBron James and the media, they are reporting that he has an MCL strain. Okay. So I need to know, like, why is LeBron James making excuses due to legacy concerns? Is it his legacy that he's so worried about? Why? Why is he so worried about his legacy in year 22? If he's had such a great career, why does he need to come out and make these excuses? Right? And I mean, they reported it right after the Luka Doncic the smear campaign against Luka Doncic, right? And the smear campaign against LeBron's teammates and even other players in the league and other teams in the league that were knocked out in the first round. Now, LeBron James reportedly suffered serious knee injury in Lakers season-ending loss versus Timberwolves. And they actually, guys, they actually go on to say that LeBron James did this when he collided into DiVincenzo. Are you kidding me? Seriously? Seriously, LeBron James, we're really trying to go with that collision gave you an MCL sprain? It was a flop. Look at him. Yes, he went down, but LeBron James flopped when he ran into DiVincenzo. MCL strain my ass. Guys go out for 3 to 5 weeks with that injury, but LeBron James is just so ironclad, right? Something tells me that LeBron takes frequent trips to the Lebalco lab. If you have an MCL strain and you're just right there out on the court, that screams PEDS. That screams Balco. That new juice. So make me understand why. Why, guys? Why does LeBron James either need to fake injuries or bring up injuries post playoff exit? Why? We didn't hear anything about this. We didn't hear anything about this until days later. Until after the media is beating up Luka Doncic for being fat. But I want to know from you guys, why is this happening? Why does LeBron James need to still protect his legacy in year 22? I want to know what you guys think. I want to hear from you. Call in, talk to me nice. In the meantime, I'll read some comments. LaGlass. This is hilarious. Thank you for calling Sports Tea. Talk to me nice.
What's up, twin?
Hey, twin. What's going on, T-Bert? What are your thoughts?
Nothing much. Just hanging out in the daytime with my twin, watching you cook, and your show you produced today is awesome, and your numbers are going through the roof. And everybody get those likes up. Like.
Thank you so much, T-Bird. I really appreciate you being here and supporting. What topic do you want to cook on? You just pick away.
Let me see. I'll start. I ain't gonna talk about LeBron. Like you cooked on that, and I'm just sick of him. Whatever. I'm just so over him. I'm not even gonna talk about LeBron. Hey Spurs fan. I'll start with James Harden. James Harden, like extremely talented, but I never believed in him. He just doesn't have it in him. And for them to like, if he opts in for that 35, 36 million, he's just a disaster. He's just one of those guys that's just going to go down as a really good scorer, good player, but could never get it done because he's in his own way. I'm not a fan of him. He's not clutch. I've never seen a person with all that talent, right? Just just can't get it done because you're in your own way. He refuses to be in NBA shape, like, to be at the elite shape. He just doesn't do it. He comes in every season looking like a clump, right? He's just in his own way. Great talent, and he's just a waste of an NBA talent to me. So I just never believed in him, and I never will. He just folds. He is clutch less. And it's just like, and if you just look at his demeanor and his interviews and stuff, yeah, he cares, but he don't care enough to get in elite shape. He don't care enough to be a leader, right? He's just a go along. He's a go alonger, and I don't believe in him. And he's just not my guy. He's just not for me. So I'll leave it there on Harden. The next thing that I'm really like I get really riled up on, right? This whole GOAT conversation. Every time somebody does something good, oh, he's the GOAT, they're the GOAT, they're the GOAT. We throw the term GOAT around so much. Me, this is what I do. I don't have a GOAT because I truly believe that if you weren't around to see every player in every generation and see every era, you're not qualified to say who's a GOAT. So pretty much no one is. So what I say now is I say the greatest of all time that I've seen, right? And that puts things into better perspective. And I think Steph Curry is great, right? I think Steph Curry is the greatest in his era and his generation. But to say like what Perk said in the conversation of greatest of all time, for me, and I'm not just talking about Steph Curry. This is just like I'm very hard to put. It's hard to put somebody in my GOAT conversation. If you are way below on a part in your job, in your occupation, I can't put you in GOAT conversation. And what I'm getting to is, I think Steph Curry's 100 on offense, but on defense, he's like a 30. He plays one side of the court. Like, I just can't put somebody like that in a conversation where somebody's 100 on offense and a 90 on defense. I can't do it. So I think Steph is great. And here's the other thing I wanted to say about what I really want. I'm a Steph Curry fan. I want so bad, more than any championship. I want Steph to get this fifth championship because you know what it does? It destroys the media narrative because Steph Curry and on LeBron's watch will have formed a dynasty on LeBron's watch, right? He
Mhm.
would have had more rings on LeBron's watch, and he did it with one team. Now, that automatically, even with the LeBron media, it has to knock LeBron out the conversation for good. Because how can you be considered the GOAT when you weren't even the best in your era, right? And some of my criteria that goes into, are you a GOAT? Well, I go with, if someone formed a dynasty on your watch, I don't think you can be considered the GOAT. I'm not saying you can't be top five, top two, top three, top four, but you can't be one. If somebody formed a dynasty on your watch, got more rings than you, I just don't think you could be in that GOAT conversation. So, what you think about me wanting Curry to desperately get this fifth ring to put a dagger through the media?
I I felt that way. So I've been like low key rooting for the Warriors ever since they got Jimmy Butler. I've been rooting for the Warriors because
Mm-hmm.
folks told me that, Jimmy Butler didn't move the needle for the Warriors and he did. I mean, he took them from G League to playoff contention instantly, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
what we're seeing them do, it's almost kind of like magic. And Draymond Green, he said it. He said it right
Mm-hmm.
during the All-Star, I think it was All-Star weekend, where he came out and was just like, we're going to win the title this year. Like, we are going to win the title. That's what he said. He was just like, I think we're going to win the championship. And then he says,
Mm-hmm.
no, I lied. We are going to win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see it. I think it does put a nail in LeBron James's GOAT case, but I know that the media narratives are going to start, right? So they see it. They see that the media is turning against them. That's what's happening. They're turning against LeBron James and Clutch Sports, and they're inserting Steph Curry into this conversation because that's what they want. They think that they think that it's deserved, one, and two, they're beginning to turn their backs on LeBron James. So
Exactly.
I would love to see this happen. If he gets a fifth ring, then we're gonna it's going to be a very, as Paul Pierce says, uncomfortable conversation for LeBron fans to have. They're going to be called to task. Their backs are going to be up against the wall, and it's going to be a very, very interesting time. In the same breath, I want to see teams like Houston win that got recently knocked out, or I want to see the little guys win. I love to personally see underdogs win. That's who I tend to root for. That's why I'm such a Knick fan, because we don't usually win, but we love the work of it. We love the hustle of it. We love the calorie burn of potentially winning but not. So, it's one of those things where you can't help but to root for the little engine that could. And in this case, right, especially when we go to see the Warriors against OKC, it's going to be experience versus depth, and just like a team that should be winning, right? And so
Right.
I'm really hype about this series, and I want to see what happens, and I can't wait to see how the
Absolutely.
rest of the
And I got
postseason plays out, and if Steph Curry is going to ascend into that conversation finally. He should already be there though.
right. And I got one more thing about uh the clutch sports. So it's just sickening to hear. Like, I just don't see. I just hate that everything is the blame. Like when it comes to LeBron, everybody gets blamed. It's the LeBlame show. Why can't people, including JJ? JJ is a clear narcissist that cannot accept any accountability or responsibility for any of his bad movements. Right?
Mhm.
But I remember in the '90s and early in the 2000s when those greats lost, they took responsibility, right? They put it on them. It all starts with me, right? I got to do better. I got to do this. I have to lead my team better. in this moment, I could have done this better. Rich Paul's taking it to another level. Him and JJ, they're blaming players. They're blaming them about being in shape and not in shape. Then they're blaming the roster, which means they're blaming their own teammates. They're blaming the organization. And then Rich Paul says, oh, it's not all about names. You can't just depend on names. But wait a minute. I thought when LeBron was in Cleveland, he wanted more help. What did he do? He left and went and got names. Everywhere he went and brought names with him or joined names. So when he loses, it's not about names.
Right.
But when he was in Cleveland, it's about going to join the names. I'm just confused. So in conclusion, I just wish they just stop just blaming everything. And it's okay to lose, right? You learn from losing.
You do.
And also, no player in NBA history or in any sport has won every time that they played 100% of the time, 100% of the games, 100% of the playoffs, and finals.
I'm so sorry about that, T-Bert. I actually lost you. I don't know, something with my phone did something, but I apologize for that. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. This was just a wonderful stream. Really great phone call by T-Bert. Thank you for your take. Thank you for your call. Salute to everybody in the chat. Let's get the likes up for me. Do me a favor. I think we're at about 100 likes or so. If we can just jump that up to 150, that would make me so happy. And don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Most importantly, share the video. Share it out on your social media. Let's grow the sports tea community. We need more subscribers. We need more people in the chats. We need this community to be bigger, bring more positivity to the sports world and community. And I want to thank you all for being here and for calling in. It takes a lot of courage to do that. And I did want to read the last super chat that came through from Titan Long. Thank you for your $5 super chat. I could barely send this due to severe metatarsal sprain, but push through, and thank you for your work, my lady. Thank you so much, Titan Long. I really appreciate you. Please don't strain yourself. I really appreciate this donation to the channel. It does go a long way. And I appreciate everybody's support. But I just want you to get better, get well soon. And I hope that sprain heals very quickly. I know those things can be troublesome and quite frustrating. So take care. Salute to everybody in the chat who's joined I see Frankie Fernandez from Guam. Salute to everybody. Thank you guys so much for showing up today and this afternoon, and have a wonderful day. And let's unpack these games later. We've got some really great post-game material coming later on, probably this evening. So get yourselves ready. It's going to be a very, very fun evening, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.